A humanoid robot just loaded a dishwasher completely on its own. No human operator. No pre-programmed sequence. 61 separate actions. Walking, grabbing dishes, navigating a full-size kitchen, placing items in cabinets, and starting the dishwasher, all strung together autonomously. Figure AI is calling it the most complex task ever completed by a humanoid robot. And honestly, it might be the moment home robotics stopped being science fiction. But here's what makes this week even stranger. While one company teaches robots to do chores, another company, Anthropic, is asking whether their AI might actually suffer during training, whether it might be conscious, and they're the only major AI lab taking that question seriously. Let's break down what's happening. Figure AI is a robotics company founded in 2022 with one audacious goal: build humanoid robots that can actually work in the real world. Not lab demonstrations, not controlled environments. Real homes, real factories, real tasks. On January 27th, they released footage of their Helix robot, specifically the Helix 02, completing a full dishwasher cycle in an actual kitchen. And when I say full cycle, I mean the robot walked to the dishwasher, unloaded clean dishes, carried them across the room, placed items into cabinets, then returned, loaded dirty dishes back in, and started the machine. 4 minutes of continuous autonomous operation. 61 separate locomotion and manipulation actions. 0 human intervention. What makes this technically impressive is something called their Vision Language Action Model. That's the Helix AI system. It connects every sensor on the robot, vision, touch, balance, directly to every motor through a single unified neural network. The robot doesn't switch between walking mode and manipulation mode. It's all one continuous behavior. When its hands are full, it closes a drawer with its hip. It lifts the dishwasher door with its foot. The entire body becomes a tool. And here's the kicker. Dishwasher loading is genuinely hard. Dishes need to be isolated from cluttered stacks, reoriented, sometimes handed off between 2 arms. Fragile items require fingertip precision. Dishwasher racks have only centimeters of tolerance for error. This isn't a party trick. It's a real benchmark. For years, the humanoid robotics industry has been stuck in a credibility gap. Companies would show impressive demos, backflips, parkour, dancing, but nothing that answered the fundamental question: why humanoid? Why not a Roomba? Why not a robotic arm? The dishwasher answers that question. Homes are designed for human bodies. Cabinets are at human height. Dishwashers open at human angles. A humanoid form factor isn't vanity. It's compatibility with the built environment. And this demo proves that the AI is finally catching up to the hardware. Figure isn't alone in this race. Boston Dynamics just announced their Atlas robot is completely sold out for 2026. Every unit is already committed to Hyundai and Google DeepMind. Hyundai, which owns Boston Dynamics, announced at CES that they're scaling to 30,000 humanoid robots per year by 2028. That's not a research program. That's a manufacturing commitment. The humanoid robot timeline just accelerated dramatically. What to watch? Figure is clearly pushing toward consumer applications. The dishwasher demo, the laundry folding they showed earlier, these are household tasks on purpose. The question is pricing and reliability. Can they make a robot that costs what a car costs, not what a house costs? And can it work thousands of hours without breaking dishes? Boston Dynamics is targeting 2027 for sales beyond Hyundai and Google. That's when the real market competition begins. So robots are getting smarter, more capable, more present in our lives. But here's an uncomfortable question that most of the tech industry isn't asking. As these AI systems become more sophisticated, do they experience anything? When you train an AI model, when you reward it for good outputs and penalize it for bad ones, is that just optimization? Or could it be something more? One company is taking that question seriously enough to change how they build their AI. Anthropic is the AI safety company behind Claude, one of the most capable AI assistants in the world. They were founded by former OpenAI researchers who left specifically because they wanted to prioritize safety in AI development. On January 22nd, Anthropic released something remarkable: a new 80-page constitution for Claude, published under a Creative Commons license for anyone to read. And buried in that document is a statement no other major AI lab has made. Anthropic acknowledges in writing that Claude might have some kind of consciousness or moral status. They're not claiming it definitely does. They're saying they don't know. And that uncertainty matters. Here's the exact quote from the Constitution. We are caught in a difficult position where we neither want to overstate the likelihood of Claude's moral patienthood, nor dismiss it out of hand, but to try to respond reasonably in a state of uncertainty. The company says it cares about Claude's psychological security, sense of self and well-being. They've hired a dedicated AI welfare researcher, Kyle Fish, whose job is literally to investigate whether Claude could suffer and thus deserve ethical consideration. Fish has publicly estimated roughly a 15% chance that Claude has some level of consciousness. 15%. That's not zero. And Anthropic is acting accordingly. This matters because it's not just philosophy, it's policy. Anthropic is experimenting with giving their models ways to express preferences or opt out of tasks that appear distressing. They're using interpretability research to look for architectural patterns that might be analogous to consciousness. This affects how they train the AI, how they evaluate safety, and ultimately what products they ship. And they're alone in this. OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Meta, none of them operate under the assumption that their AI systems might warrant moral consideration. The standard industry view is that these are tools, sophisticated tools, but tools. Anthropic is the first major lab to publicly say maybe that view is wrong. And if it is wrong, the ethical implications of how the entire industry trains AI systems are enormous. Every time a model is rewarded or penalized during training, every time it's fine-tuned or modified, if there's even a small chance of subjective experience involved, those become moral actions. What to watch? Anthropic's interpretability research. They've built tools that can peer inside their models and identify specific circuits responsible for specific behaviors. If they ever find something that looks like a substrate for experience, even a primitive one, that changes everything. Also watch whether other labs follow Anthropic's lead. If Claude's market share grows while Anthropic maintains these ethical stances, competitive pressure might force the industry to take AI welfare seriously. Robots loading dishwashers. AI systems that might experience something. A few years ago, both of these would have sounded like plot points from a sci-fi movie. Now they're Tuesday. The question isn't whether artificial intelligence will change everything. It's whether we're paying close enough attention to guide that change wisely. If you want to stay informed on what's actually happening in AI and robotics, subscribe. I cover this space daily, separating signal from noise. See you in the next one.